Hello and welcome to Time Tunnel, where we find out what was making news in the past. I'm Misan Lee in New York. Today we travel back to this day in 1979. Here's Frank Reynolds.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, Tom Jarrell, and from Washington, Frank Reynolds.
Good evening. Now we know the United States has passed the word to the Shah of Iran. It's time for him to leave his country. This is not being said publicly, but officials here in Washington are confirming it privately. Here's the story from diplomatic correspondent Barry Dunsmore.
At the time that the Shah was meeting his new civilian government this past weekend, he was aware that the U.S. had made its decision. It was a subtle decision. It did not constitute a public disavowal of the Shah, nor in any way call for his abdication. The decision was simply to instruct U.S. Ambassador Sullivan that the next time the Shah asked for advice on whether or not to take a vacation, the advice should be, by all means, yes. This was done in the full knowledge that if the Shah leaves, he may never get back. The public signal that the U.S. had decided the Shah must go was actually given last Thursday by State Department spokesman Hodding Carter, who indicated for the first time that the basic policy of the U.S. was not the continuation of the Shah's reign.
The fundamental concerns of the United States and Iran are for that country's stability, independence, and orderly political and economic evolution.
The shift in U.S. policy was dictated by the belief that a civilian government will have no chance unless the Shah leaves. Behind that belief is the concern that if a civilian government cannot be formed, there will either be a right-wing military coup or the emergence of an anti-Western, highly conservative Islamic state. As of the moment, either of those is still possible. Barry Dunsmore, ABC News, the State Department.
There were several developments in Iran today that indicate just how difficult it may be to restore political stability there. Peter has that story from our foreign desk in London.
In Tehran tonight, Prime Minister Bakhtiar is not having an easy time forming a viable government. As we reported yesterday, a key general has refused to serve in the cabinet, and tonight we learn of more difficulty with the Prime Minister when he tries for a vote of confidence in Parliament on Thursday. ABC's Sylvia Chase reports that at least 30 MPs have already requested time to speak against the new government. It snowed in Tehran today, and demonstrations against the Shah, perhaps as a result, were at a much lower level. The Shah himself announced today that the royal family will turn over all its personal property to a Crown-sponsored charitable foundation. That property is estimated to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, if Iran is a nation with little control tonight, it is much tighter in Cambodia. By all accounts, the new Cambodian government, supported by Vietnam, is pretty firmly entrenched. Vietnam today became the first country to recognize the new leadership. That is not to say there is still no resistance. As ABC's Bill Rediker reports, there is still fighting near the border with Thailand.
Vietnamese airstrikes within Cambodia spilled over into Thailand today when a jet, apparently missing its Cambodian target, dropped 3 bombs into a vacant field here. Thai military advisors surveyed the bomb craters but took no action, convinced it was a mistake. At the border between the two countries, no Cambodians crossed the frontier into Thailand today, but officers said fighting was nearby as mortar fire could be heard throughout the day. Both incidents have generated growing uneasiness here, so later this week, the 5 non-communist nations of Southeast Asia will consider the ramifications of the new Cambodian takeover at an emergency meeting in Thailand. But in Aranyat Pratet, the closest Thai city to the Cambodian border, the mood here is one of indifference, even though the Vietnamese-led rebels claim they will soon occupy land only 4 miles away. That doesn't seem to bother store clerk Kamrap Chanam Paripam. He says the rebels will be in Cambodia, not Thailand, and that his city has survived hostile neighbors before, even when they violated the border. Shopkeeper Tu Sai Tong agrees. She says this is not the first time we've had problems nearby. In fact, it happened only a few years ago when the Khmers took control of Cambodia in 1975. But while residents take no special precautions, their government has, placing Thai troops on alert along the 500-mile border that separates Thailand from Cambodia. Bill Rediker, ABC News, Aranyat Pratet, Thailand.
And what you can do for your country. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.